One of Seattle's finest. Let me get him here. Wait for him, bring him in. What's up, my brother?
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm all right. Set you up here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First, thank you for coming on.
My pleasure. It's been a while since I've had to get up this early.
Right. You're what's up, Cell Carver? You are in Seattle and it's like 7 a.m.?
Yep.
That ain't that bad, man.
No. Well, usually I get up, but since this whole thing started, my assistant being quarantined, we've had quarantine hours here, so.
Yes, quarantine hours are definitely different.
Yeah, for sure.
So, first, tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do, and then we get into the questions.
Okay. My name's David Walters, and I am a glass maker. I'm from. I was born in Central Pennsylvania, and spent most of my early years on the East Coast. And I moved out to Seattle after I graduated from art school in 1993. And I'm making glass here for myself and working for a lot of.
Okay, hold it. We're gonna get to that.
Sure.
We're gonna get to that. All right. So, by the way, you have a very nice voice. I don't know if you've ever been told that.
Oh, thanks.
You should be on radio or something. You have a storyteller's voice.
Oh, good.
I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and this is not particularly about work. This is just about life.
Okay.
All right. Do you have an overused phrase or word?
Overused phrase or word? Boy, tough one. Do I? I might need a second opinion on this one. Word. I'm sure that I do. I'm sure that I have more than one. That's probably. Yeah, wheels falling off the bus is what I use.
All right, so we're gonna go to number 2. What is your least favorite thing to do?
Paperwork. Office.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and that gets us in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
What is your most favorite thing to do?
I think probably draw.
Okay.
My process.
Right.
Yeah.
What's up, Keith? What is the one thing you would change about your spouse or significant other?
Tricky one. I think we just had a little conversation the other day about it. Just tidiness. I think we both tend to sprawl as artists. We get in our heads and we tend to.
So your significant other is an artist?
Yes.
What kind?
She is a fine artist as well. She works in multiple materials, but she's just got a graduate degree recently in glass. So, but she's also a printmaker.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. What makes you tick?
Boy, that's a good one.
So we don't call the open eye stuff.
I think my imagination, is one of the things. Like the wonderful things keeps me.
You have a broad, big, grand imagination. I like that.
I have a lot of interests. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, same here. My mind is my I get the gift and the curse.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, your imagination gets the best of you for sure.
It does. What irks you the most?
What hurts me the most?
Irks you, yes.
Gosh, I think insensitivity, lack of compassion and empathy, those things I think are hard to get by and watch,
Yeah, in this current state, I would say that's on point.
Yeah.
What sound makes you happiest?
What sound?
Yeah, what sound makes you happiest?
Oh, the sound. Oh gosh, probably. I think the sound of probably laughter is a trigger an immediate sense. Like,
Yeah, that's happiness.
Yeah.
What sound bothers you?
Uh, it's tough. We live right next to a train station, train track, and so in the middle of the night, it continually wakes us up. So just on top, I would say that the sound of a train's whistle blaring every half an hour. But yeah, the sound of someone crying is another one. But that would be the top of my head.
The sound of someone crying.
Yeah.
Well, crying could be for joy, though.
Yeah, it's true.
But I get it. Yes.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I take it as you said it. You're right. What is your favorite cuss word?
Oh man. I don't know. Usually it's a combination of things, but I'm a big fan of the F word for sure. I use that from time.
F or MF?
I guess probably both.
All right. What profession other than your own would you try?
Profession? Oh boy. Honestly, I think there was a certain point in my life when I thought that healthcare would be something that I thought would be of interest.
Now, what capacity?
I don't mean
administrative or doctor?
Maybe nursing or something, huh? Yeah.
No, you answered it. I was asking. Administrative or
Oh,
doctor? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what would you want on your tombstone?
I think that I was someone that people thought they could trust and that was well liked among sense of something.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite band?
My favorite what? Band. Oh, band.
Music.
Oh boy. Probably. I've been a Pink Floyd fan since I was a little kid.
All right. Have you been to a concert?
Yeah. Been a long time. Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite movie?
I have probably one of my favorite movies, which might be surprising, is On Golden Pond.
Okay.
I have, for some reason, I have a nostalgic sort of affinity for that movie. I don't know if it's when it came out or the circumstances I was at the time that I saw it, but it always holds us. Henry Fonda and Catherine Hepburn always had a place.
Your sound is going in and out.
Oh, sorry.
So you're good there.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So here we go.
Sure.
So what we want to talk about your journey from high school into college, what that was like, and the different jobs you've taken along the way to get you where you are, and what things and people that have influenced you.
Okay. When I was in high school, I took a lot of classes in art, and I was always had a natural interest in art and never thought of it as a practical sort of solution for my future. So I went into fish and wildlife when I went to school. And, hear me all right?
Yeah.
So I went to school in Colorado, and I struggled with the side of things. My head was more naturally geared towards being creative.
So I'm sorry, your head was naturally more geared toward what?
Toward being creative and making things with my hands.
Okay. So this was during high school or college?
This is when I went to college the first time. Yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
Colorado State.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were in Pennsylvania, and then you.
Well, I moved to New Jersey when I was in high school or junior high school, and then I lived there for just through high school, and then from there I went to Colorado. So I grew up.
What made you go to Colorado from New Jersey?
The program, the fisheries and wildlife program that they had was a pretty good one at the time. And I'd always wanted to go west, get out of the East Coast.
Okay.
It was sort of a dual purpose. It was a good fit from that standpoint. But I was not science minded I took art classes, and I took a bronze casting class when I was there, and those are the classes that I really had the most natural interest in. So after a year of that, I took a couple years off school and decided to apply to RISD. And so in 1989.
I'm sorry, you're still going in and out. I can hear some of what you're saying, not all of it.
Originally I was interested in more sort of sculptural work,
Okay.
like figurative work.
Now, what kind of sculpture did you want to do?
Well, I was interested in the classics, you know, I'm trying to set you up a bit. The classics, like Renaissance style artists, and a more classic figurative sort of tradition.
Okay.
A lot of figure modeling classes in the evenings.
Got it.
By the time I got to school, the art department had a new administrator. They'd run out the head of the department, so I had my freshman year, the sculpture department really had no head at the time. So I was urged by my 3D teacher at the time, who was the head of the painting department, to consider me going to glass, which was a newer program overall, but it had a more sculptural approach to glass. He thought better as a result. You still hear me all right? It sounds kind of fuzzy.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So I kind of thought about it, and then when we went up to the glass department halfway through the semester, and this guy named Dante Marioni was doing a demonstration, and I'd never seen glassblowing before, so I was just told that this guy was very proficient. He was young. He was a bit of a phenom. And I know what I was see, but so we went up and watched this person blow glass, and he made these Venetian style glass that, you know, they blow out stuff. So I didn't really be impressed.
Yeah, you're going in and out again.
Sorry, I didn't know at the time to be impressed, because I had no point of reference for how difficult the nature of it. So I mean, I was impressed, but I wasn't as impressed as I would have been if I'd watched.
Yeah, you didn't know how impressed you should have been.
Right, exactly. So anyway, I decided to try glass. I went to a gallery in New York City and saw all the different applications you could use with glass, and so I decided to try it. And then it was the first year was extremely frustrating, and had thought several times about trying something else, because I didn't know.
Why didn't you?
Why didn't I?
Yeah.
My second semester, I started working with a teacher of mine who allowed me to assist her in making her own work. And by virtue of being next to somebody who knew what they were doing a lot, and watching somebody that had...
It makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
Such a big difference.
Totally changed everything.
There's a couple of things that I started out restoring old fans, and then I got into old Porsches and Volkswagens.
Uh-huh.
But when I got into the Porsches and Volkswagens, I didn't just want to restore the body, the floor end. I was restoring the engines.
Sure.
And I have a milling machine, I had a lathe, and I was in there in upstate New York in my second home.
Wow.
Trying to learn this. It was so difficult, so discouraging.
Yeah, it's a long uphill battle. Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, so that changed. Once I saw that I could improve with some time and some hard work, I decided to reinvest. And so that was able to get me through. And then again, my senior year, the guy who I had seen my freshman year, Dante, came back and taught a class in our winter session. And so I was his assistant, and then he helped me get set up out here in Seattle and helped me get a job. I worked at Chihuly's for a long time, Dale Chihuly. And so he helped me get set up there, and introduced me a bunch of books. So it was very serendipitous for me to run into him on both ends of that.
Okay, so during college, you became his assistant.
Just during the class, because he's from Seattle too. He lives out here.
Okay.
Came and taught as a guest artist for a winter session, which is like between the fall and the spring semester. It's a short session.
All right. So after college, you and he were still close?
Yeah, I was basically graduating right after that. So he asked me what I wanted to do when I got out, and I said I just wanted to keep learning how to improve my skill set. And he asked me if I considered moving to Seattle, and I hadn't, because I didn't know about it. Seattle at that time had a pretty big reputation for glass, and it was sort of the major leagues for glass blowers. And so I, being a relative new student of glass, that I didn't know if I was ready for that yet. But he told me I was, and I came out, and I struggled a little bit in the beginning and stuck to it. And
okay, so all right, so let's slow that down.
Sure.
So when you came to Seattle, where did you work? What did you do? Did you immediately work in glass, or did you have to get another job while you worked on your glass?
Well, Dante was so well connected out here that he put in a word for me in a few places. So I got a job at Dale Chihuli's studio right out of school. And I worked there several days a week to start. And then I would sort of patchwork fill in other days with other artists. So I was able to fill my schedule pretty well the first year that I was here, with supplementing that 2 days a week at Chihuli's with, 3 days a week with other artists. There's enough artists and there's enough demand for labor at that time that I could work with like six other artists.
Wow, that's a lot of learning. It's a lot of.
It was great.
Did they pay you, or was it you being an apprentice?
I was paid. Yeah, it was a living wage at the time. It worked out pretty well. I was fortuitous when I got here because there hadn't been a whole lot of young people that had moved out here at that point. And so the availability to get a lot of different videos was there then. Sorry, I don't have this interference. I told other friends of mine that this is a great opportunity out here. And so a couple of my college friends moved out here, and then other folks from other schools started coming out, and it became a huge pool of labor eventually from art students sort of flowing into town. So,
and you were part of that by letting people know.
Well, I mean,
there's a lot of work come on out.
I knew that I went to school with. A couple of friends I told that this would be a great place to come, and they already knew about it. It wasn't like it was a big secret or anything. But I was just let them know how much work I was getting at the time. So it was it was really good for me. Yeah. So
okay, so studio NR. All right, so how long did you go between these different artists and working in their shops? And what would you say, what would you describe as the biggest contrast between, you got 6 different guys going, right? One guy works this way and another guy works this way. What was there a lot of contrast, or were they all kind of similar, just different styles?
There were pretty different styles, sure, of different work. I mean, there's certain things about glass that remain consistent, depending, no matter what sort of finished form you're making. But you adjust to different people's, techniques and needs within the process. For sure. So it's a great education for an assistant, because you get to work in all these different capacities for different people and what their needs. So, I mean, I guess I fill a 5-day-a-week schedule. So I would probably have 2, Chihuly, and I have 2 permanent days a week. I'd have another steady day a week with another friend of mine. And then people who I worked with in other studios would also rent time or get time in that studio. And then I would also be available to help them,
So in these studios, a lot of different artists go to one place to blow. They don't necessarily have their own firing thing in their own shop.
Right. Well, exactly. Like Chihuli's at the time had so many different people working there who also had very successful careers on their own, and they would supplement their, that with working a day a week at Dale's. So there was a huge pool of really skilled people at the time, and I could just go and work for Dale, And then some of those people were like, well, hey, I'm working on Friday or Saturday. Are you available? And then you pick up work that way. So I got a lot of work, you know, just by being there, being in
I bet you did, right?
Yeah.
You had built-in work. Just show up. It's like playing pickup on a basketball court. Just go there for the day. I'm here. Who needs me? So
that's right.
So we are, and so that must have lasted for years.
I did that for a long time. I mean, I still do it a little bit, and I mean, I have more regular jobs now, but I do occasional like contract work too.
No, I'm saying when you started, because of you can blow the glass there, all the facilities are there. There's no real reason to go anywhere else, because this is all, everything you need is right here with the people you're helping, the education, the inspiration.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's such a wide array of different artists working in different ways. I had initially wanted to go to graduate school. In some ways, I felt like my experience here at the time I was here was a bit of a graduate school experience without necessarily the symposiums and things like that.
The stuff you need.
Yeah, because I was getting a lot of different thoughts and considerations in terms of the way people are thinking about their work, you know, but also just the technical mastery that was already there that I could just immediately sort of benefit from. So it
You all right, go ahead. So you froze up for a minute, but you're good now.
Yeah, my phone was let me know I need to charge it up. It was a nice combination of extremely skilled people, but also really talented artists and thinkers. So I feel like I got both sides of that sort of educational.
Okay, now how long ago was this?
I moved here in '93, so it's 26 years ago, I guess.
Okay, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
Are some of those people still around? Do you still work with them?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, they're all mostly still around. I mean, some people's careers have, you know, a lot of them have their own studios now. At the time, people were renting studios or working out other studios. A lot of people have their own studios now. And, you know, careers taken. I work for primarily a Venetian master glassblower when he's around. He just went back to Italy recently. So he comes in probably about 4 or 5 times a year, and we work sort of chunks of time. And when he's not around, I supplement and fill in with 2 other artists that I work for regularly. And then when I'm not helping them, I'm doing my own work. So it's sort of a three part.
But I think that's pretty cool, because the help that you get is from other experts and not from Johnny down the street who comes in once or twice a week to help. And you don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the thing about glass too is glassblowing teams are sort of like bands. You know what I mean? Like a musical band. There's a certain sort of synchronicity that has to happen in a glass team that is hard to like sort of. Even if there's great glass blowers, it's like throwing an all-star team together versus, you know, an NBA, you know, championship team. Yeah, you're gonna have a bunch of great players who played well individually, but they might not gel together when you throw.
Might not be in harmony.
Yeah, that takes time to develop.
Build.
Not to say that you're too good, but so that's how the glass world works. So a lot of the studios that you work with, the people you work with, are fairly consistent. People like to work with the same people, so everybody has the same expectation and knows what's, you know, sort of expected and wanted. So there's a lot of consistency in terms of like crossover and who you see in different studios and who you work with.
So, okay. Now, let me ask you this. Are there any beefs between the teams, rivalries?
Not that I'm aware.
Are there any glass blowing battles?
I don't, not that I'm, no, there's no hostility of any kind.
I mean,
there
joking,
may be,
but...
Yeah, there may be some playful, you know, goofing around stuff, but I don't think so. I mean, because some teams are sort of, I'm on several different teams of different glass blowers, so there's a lot of crossover.
As a glass blower, who inspires you?
As a glassblower? Oh gosh. Well, there's a lot of glassblowers. I mean, I would have to say off the top of my head is the guy I work with the most is has been the greatest sort of had impact on me in terms of, not just in terms of skill and techniques, but like his that's how he regards the material, you know, his relationship with the material. It's, you know, the guy that I help, and he's been blowing glass since he was 11 years old.
Yeah, I watch him too.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he's widely considered one of the best in the world. So I've been fortunate to work with him for 26 years now, and so he's been a pretty big influence, obviously, for just.
You've been working for 26 years?
Yeah, since '94 I started working with him. So.
Wow.
Yeah,
and,
I've had
the other thing
sure.
The other thing I find amazing is his work is completely different than yours. Completely different.
Yeah, for sure. We're very different. Yeah, and same with like Julie, they're extremely like color oriented in their work, and that's part of the things that I love with their work. My work is not about, it's about sort of, you know, narrative and about the sort of graphic quality of like old Albert. I used to like Albert Dürer woodcuts and old woodcuts from the Renaissance, and the graphic quality of it.
So, Damascus Thomas Quinn.
Yeah. So it's very different, and you know, obviously the aesthetic of the people that I assist, which I like, and I think they like it too. It's like nice if everybody has their own thing.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm someone who studied speech and debate, participated in speech and debate. I have to stop saying so. Looking at your website, of course, you don't put necessarily the same stuff on your Instagram. On your website, you do have a lot of different color, and it's beautiful. And it's not necessarily the same stuff that I see on your Instagram. But on your Instagram, I see a lot of your cartoons and a lot of your drawings, and which I absolutely love.
Oh, thanks.
Where did that come from, and what inspired you to do that?
That started out as exercise between my girlfriend and I. We were going to do a journal for our quarantine, you know, or shelter in place, just to sort of document. What's that?
I'm just saying hello to the people that come on. You keep going.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so we started this shelter in place journal, and it started as a 30-minute exercise to just sort of talk about things that are in your head, whatever happened that day. And it sort of morphed into something else. Every time I'd be like, all right, 10 more minutes or 5 more minutes. And then finally I was like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to take as long as it takes. So it went from being a 30-minute thing.
Okay, wait a second. So you were not doing this before quarantine?
Not like we are in now. No, I was, I mean, I drew, but I journaled, like I didn't draw like I'm drawing now. Yeah.
You went from doodling to full-fledged cartoons.
Yeah.
Kind of, no?
Yeah, you can almost see in my little sketchbook the progression of where I just started like, all right, getting a little bit more obsessed, I guess, with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff.
Oh, thanks. It's been therapeutic more than anything. It's a way to respond to the frustration of the situation right now for me. So.
Yeah, there's lots of that going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Where do you want to put the cartoons that you draw? Do you want to put those on glass, or are they completely separate?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of them, some of the drawings that I've come up with are might be transferable on the glass. Some of the stuff is just more. I don't generally do like straight up portraits of people, but I've been doing it for, I don't know why I've been feeling compelled to draw Trump as much as I have. It's a lot of it's out of sheer disgust. You can like despise someone.
I try not to get political on the show, but you draw cartoons and that's a part of it, and I love it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't imagine anything end up on the work because I don't know that that's. Yeah, but I think some of the ideas.
Yeah, I'm not particularly talking about that subject, but I'm just talking
Right.
about the cartoon, the drawings in general. Do you
Sure.
want to put that on glass?
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure that I will put some of them on. Yeah. 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 Already put a few of them
Okay,
on
so now
teapots, like some of the.
let's talk about your work and your inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you more of the white glass with color on it as opposed to the stuff that everyone else does? Where did that come from?
I think it's just I sort of circle back to the things initially interested me in art, before I found glass, which was I as a kid I drew a lot, and I was always interested in stories and sort of narratives, comics, and things like that, old fairy tales. So I think it just took me a long time to sort of figure out how to navigate all those different interests and point them in a direction in glass that made some kind of
All
sense.
right, I'm going to ask you a really silly question.
Sure.
Are you nervous?
A little bit, yeah. I'm pretty shy generally.
Because you got nervous movements.
Oh, do I?
You're doing great, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
You're doing great. All right. So I was just to break the ice and distract you from being nervous. So
okay.
your influences.
In terms of
Paul. Okay, we good.
I look at a lot of. Oh, I'm free.
You still all right? There we go.
Mark Ryden is that I like a lot.
Now, what is Mark Ryden another glass blower?
No, he's a painter.
Okay. I can hear you, but there we go. I can see you now.
If you're familiar with like juxtapose and high fructose and stuff, he.
Your signal's a little. There we go. That's better.
Yeah. In terms of other glass people, gosh,
No, I just meant artists in general. Inspiration comes from wherever.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it does come from sort of old pop culture stuff, images as a kid, old Disney images and things of that sort of nostalgic old toys of like, the 30s, 40s, 50s, the aluminum and tin toys. Yeah, I'm a sort of nostalgic person, so I sort of enjoy things that sort of remind me of or harken me back to it, I guess.
Yeah, because I'm an antiquer, and looking at your stuff, it kind of reminds me of some stuff that I've seen reference from old antique shops back in the day.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to, my parents. Oh, my parents were speaking out when I was a kid. We used to in Central Pennsylvania. We used to go to a place called Renninger's a lot, which is out near Lancaster. Every weekend we were going antiquing somewhere, so it was sort of like a treasure hunt every weekend for me to like go through all the kids' toys and stuff at those places. I loved it. That was great.
Yep, yeah, I would do that as well too when I was younger.
Yeah.
So, could we get a shop tour?
Sure.
We get a shop tour, and then we'll come back and do questions.
Okay. Let me see here. I'll flip you around. How do I flip you around? I guess I can just point you.
No, there's a little arrow thing there, and you can hit the arrow and flip it around.
Arrow. Casey, do you know what the arrow thing is?
Should be right, maybe at the bottom or the top, one of them.
There an arrow.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I don't see it, and I don't see it here in the chat because it's not like the normal camera. Like we're in split
Maybe.
screen now.
Yeah, there should be an arrow that looks like recycling, and you flip it, and it turns the other way.
I don't see it on here.
Is it on the computer?
That's
or
fine.
I'll point it. I'll do this.
Yeah, it's all good.
So this is sort of my holding area right now. These are a few pieces. Some of them are ready to different states of being ready to fire. I wrap these little hands up because the enamel, will get into the pigment will get into the glass because it's unprotected. There's no clear over it. So if I don't wrap them up, then it'll get the pigment will get in there. So until it's ready to fire.
Okay.
These are different pieces from different residencies that I've had over the last couple of years. And I'm in the process of trying to get
Wow.
enough stuff here ready to have a show. So
Looks like a bunch of people in there.
yeah, it is. It's weird to come home to this sometimes. This is sort of the first thing I see when I walk in the door. It's kind of fun.
So what's the oldest piece you have, like from when you started 20-something years ago?
Oh, the oldest. This one right here is the oldest painted piece I have right now. That's from 2000.
How old is that?
That's from 2007.
Okay.
I don't know if I have any really old, like beginner style glass kind of stuff. You mean?
Yeah, your early stuff.
This is pretty early, actually. No, this is actually older. I used to paint on glass, and you can see there's a poster inside. So right now you can sort of. But this vessel was painted, and then I would sgraffito into the enamel to get a different sort of graphic quality. Let me get these out of here. So it's a much different style that I work in now, which is more of a pen and ink style. You can see I would paint the whole thing, and I'd scratch the image into the black mat.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So it's harder to control. Like there's not a lot of editing that you can do in this process. It's sort of a one and done. If you go ahead and patch it up, it gets kind of goopy and gummy. So the way that I work now, I'm able to really edit. You know, I go in and I paint with
What's up, Griffin Esther, Hardwood Hippie?
a pen and ink style.
Lorenzo, Patch the set, give us a couple of moments.
So I apply the enamel with this pen, and then when it dries, I go in with this little tool, and I clean up all the lines until I get them all super clean.
Wow.
I can't do that with a straight line brush. So
Right.
It's a finicky process. There's a lot of editing involved on the back side of it.
Okay.
So, and the other scary part too is that the enamel fires at about right around 1100 degrees at 1080, and so the glass starts moving at 1000 degrees. It starts slowly, but so the longer you leave it up to fire at temperature, the more likely the glass is to move on you. So it's a bit of a white knuckle experience sometimes when you're trying to fire some of this stuff. So I've lost stuff in firing from slumping and stuff like that and blowing up. But anyway,
Right. All right, so we're gonna go to some questions.
Sure.
Sashin said, I'm bending neon as I watch this cool conversation. Ever work in neon or with neon artists?
I've never worked in neon, but I have several friends who are neon artists. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is glass blowing dangerous, the molten glass?
Yeah. I mean, it's as dangerous as you might imagine. There's a lot of opportunity to burn yourself, and everybody does get burned at some point. But I mean, I think if you use if you're a sensible person and show some caution and respect for a studio, you could be okay. It's not terribly dangerous. Yeah, aside from the obvious.
Right. Where's the furthest you've traveled to collaborate or work with someone or see their process?
Oh boy. I travel with Lino a lot. I've blown glass in Brazil, the
No,
Maldives.
okay, where's Lino?
Lino lives in Murano, in Venice, Italy. But he also lives in Seattle, so he comes here pretty frequently. He has a couple places here. But we travel all over the world. I've blown glass with him in Turkey and Brazil, Japan, Italy, where else? Australia. I know there's more I'm forgetting.
What's up, technical stir here?
Yeah, I would say Maldives was the most exotic and strange place to blow glass.
Yeah, so when you go to these places, what purpose is it? Is it to show people the process, or is it for an actual job?
Usually, when I travel with him, he's often offered invitations to come to places because he's a bit of a treasure. So as somebody who assists him, I'm often brought along to help because he's a celebrity, basically.
And you was roadie?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I've been more or less, like his roadie for the last, I don't know. We've been traveling for about 20 some years now.
Wow.
So yeah. So I've gotten to see and go and work in places that I would not have otherwise likely have seen, for sure. Been extraordinary. Yeah.
Everything glass. So when you go, everything is already there. You all just bring your tools, or?
Yeah, we usually ship. We have like a little crate that we send of his tools and materials, color, and things that we're going to need and use. But most studios come equipped with standard general things that you don't have to bring with you. We might bring blowpipes sometimes, depending on where we're working, but usually we just bring hand tools.
All right, so blowing all over the world, is the glass the same wherever you go, or do different regions have different kind of stuff?
Yeah, there's different in Italy and Europe. They use it's a different formula than we use here, so it has different working properties. Generally in the States, it's mostly the same. I mean, within some range, but it's generally pretty close to the same kind of working sort of differences. So there's a small adjustment, but it's not so much that it changes the course of the kind of work that we do or anything. We just sort of adjust the differences and then move on. But yeah, there are some differences, and the glass is not always the same. Sure.
How many of you all, like Lino's team, it's you and who else?
When we travel, there's usually myself, two other people. We usually travel with 2 to 3, besides okay. Lino.
So you don't have to get the coffee; they get the coffee.
Yeah, we take care. Yeah.
Somebody's got to get the coffee.
Usually, actually, Lino gets the coffee. He's usually
really all right. Cool.
This is coffee. Yeah, he's very gracious with the coffee. Yeah.
All right. So what's up, Jeff? Jeff goes, do you have to train yourself to breathe, or two of the air you like your trumpet player?
Oh, for blown glass?
Yes.
It doesn't require as much lung power as you think. The hotter the glass is, the less you have to blow.
So you're not doing a Dizzy Gillespie?
No. Although, I mean, if you're blowing in molds all day long, like if you're a mold blower, if you're working in a factory and you're blowing in molds all day long, you can develop that because you're just constantly blowing and trying to fill up a mold all day. But the kind of often blowing that we do and the amount that we blow hard into a pipe, it doesn't really happen that often. Yeah.
Fashion said.
So that's a good question.
Fashion said, who do you consider the greatest glass blower of all time?
Glass blower of all time? Oh boy. I don't know. I haven't seen all the great blowers, but going on, talking to Lino, and he's seen more glass blowers than anybody that I know. I would say one of the people that he has always been a fan of is a guy named Mario Grasso, who was a good friend of his, who had extraordinary talent and ability and a natural sort of inclination to glass. He might be the most natural glass worker I think that Lino's ever seen in terms of his greatness.
Okay.
I don't think his aspirations for glass matched his like innate ability for the material. There are people who have reached higher heights in glass and have, you know, have greater proclamations towards that sort of.
Your screen's frozen, but I can hear you.
That there are, you know, it's how do you measure greatness? I guess some people are able to take what they have and make it, and extraordinary innate ability that don't, you know, that don't push through to the same level that other people do. So it's hard to say, I guess. Pino Signoretto is one of the most naturally gifted glass workers that I've ever seen. He passed years ago, or so 3 years ago. In terms of his sculpting and glass, just pure sort of intuitive ability with material, he was unbelievable. So in my experience, I would that he would probably be, he's not alive anymore, but for all the people that I've seen work in glass, he was sort of natural. Yeah.
Okay, a trivia question.
Sure.
From your expertise, what's the most amount of money a piece of glass is sold for that you have known about or heard about?
It's funny. Well, I mean, Chihuly sold, you know, like $500,000 and up, I guess, for chandeliers and
Wow.
things. Yeah. I mean, Lino's work's not, it's expensive, man. I mean,
Oh, you can see it. It looks expensive.
yeah. I mean, like one of those dinosaurs that we make, they're 5-6 feet tall. They sell for about 60, 80 grand, depends, you know? So I mean, I can't afford my own work if I wanted to buy it. Yeah, it's too expensive. Just because primarily. Yeah, and then like if you get into the pipe making world, like those guys routinely, I mean, some of the real top guys were bringing 5 to 6 figures on some of those pipe rigs that they make. So I don't know. There's extraordinary amount of money out there for glass, or there has been. How you tap into that market? I don't know.
Say that again?
I said, how you tap into that market? I don't know.
Yeah, we're all trying to find out in our different perspective fields. There always seems to be room at the top and money at the top.
Yeah, that's for sure.
If you had to have a conversation with one person, who would it be? What's up, Zachary Blow? Liam Fisher Glass, Verde.
Gosh, I don't know. That's one person. I don't know. Maybe JFK off the top of my head. John F. Kennedy.
Right.
I don't know. That popped into my head. It's not something I would normally maybe have said, but just with all the things that are happening now, I'd be curious to see what he was thinking about when the shit was hitting the fan in the 60s. But
Yeah, I'm with you. Joe has a question. How would you say caught breaking into your market? What's the first step?
to breaking into the market in terms of, well, I show primarily in a gallery type setting. So I guess, I start getting your work and your portfolio together and approaching different galleries that you're interested in showing your work that you feel like you'd be a good fit in, be where I would start.
How long did it take you to fly on your own?
I guess it depends on what you mean by fly my own. I still supplement my income by assisting other people. So I haven't had to, I'm not completely independent in the sense that all of I make a living on the sale of my own work at this point. It subsidizes my living, but I still also rely on assisting like Lino, helping Lino make his work, and a few of the other artists that I work for. So it's sort of a 50-50 right now for me. So I'm still trying to, make enough money selling my own work to, make full. I enjoy working with other people, so it's sort of it's not a burden for me to help other people, but I enjoy that side of my life and my profession.
That's got to be pretty good.
Sorry?
So it's got to be pretty cool to go work with someone else and see their process and help them reach the goal.
Yeah. I mean, I would do it if I could do it for free, I would. I like helping people, but it would be nice to have the option of doing it. I need to do it right now just to sort of fill in the gaps. It would be nicer, like you say, to be well enough off in my own career to not have to work for others out of necessity and just do it out of sheer will. But it was just working out.
Everything happens for a reason, man.
That's right, and don't get me wrong. I feel ultra fortunate to be in the situation that I'm in. So.
Right. So Jim has another question. Can you start out with an old beer bottles and melt them down on your stove?
Not in your stove. You have to get something a little hotter than that. But I mean, you could do it fire. I mean, get it hot enough.
So how hot does glass need? You said it'd be 1,000 degrees.
It's just to move at 1,000 degrees very slowly. I mean, it's not like you're going to be melting glass. So it's a super cool liquid. So the hotter you get it, the more viscous it becomes. It's molten, depending on what kind of glass you like. Lead crystal melts pretty low, so you don't have to go nearly as hot as you would with soda lime, which is what we use. The melting glass temperature that we work out of a furnace is around 2,000 degrees, from 2,000 and 2,100 degrees. And so that's what it comes out, when it's sort of like in the honey state. And then as it cools, I don't know what the optimal temperature, depending on what you're trying to do, is, but it ranges between. You don't want it to go below 1,000 when it's in the hot because you're endangering of getting sick. So somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 degrees is
right.
Is built, worked.
What did you think when I first contacted you?
What did I think? Oh, I don't know. I didn't
What did you?
know. That's the person that's ever contacted me for anything like this. So once I looked into it, I thought it looked great. I didn't know though. Yeah.
All right. Okay. I didn't know I wonder because I'm interested in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Which is
great.
why this was born. And I see people, the great work, like, hey, let's chat. And I'm just wondering what people are getting on the other end.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you get approached for different things for different reasons online, and some of them are a little strange. As soon as I saw what you were doing, I thought awesome. But at first I was a little skeptical. I guess I froze up a little. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, good.
Can't see you. Okay, now you're not frozen anymore.
You see me now?
I can't hear
you. When you do this, what do other people? How do they answer that question?
I think you're the first person I asked that question to.
You there?
Some people say, yeah. Some people.
Oh, really?
The woodworking community is where we started, and they were like, "Hey, this is a great idea." Honestly, most people ignore me. I think I've sent out 250 requests.
Oh,
yeah, and most of them have not been responded to.
Really? Huh.
Half of them were like, yeah. Certain percentage are like, no. But I send out a lot because it's a numbers thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's a place I'm trying to put people in during the week. So I have to do more than expected. So it's been a different response. But the people who have responded have been positive and get what we're trying to do. So that's been good. I think other people, like you said, probably don't pay attention because they get all these crazy requests online. So K-Fold says, it was really awesome to hear David talk about his... K-Fold said it was really awesome to hear David talk about his career. I had a chance to see him work once in North Carolina.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's probably last year at Star.
Yeah. And Jeff goes, gosh, I've never got a request. Keep working, Jeff. You're going to get one.
Nice.
So thank you for your time. I really appreciate you giving us the time and telling us about your journey and how you got into this. Your work is absolutely amazing. And keep the cartoons coming.
I will. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Brother. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Oh, at 2 o'clock, 1,400 hours, we're going on a ship.
Oh, awesome.
There's some guys that are building a ship in Costa Rica. So we're going to take a look at that. All right, brother. Thank you.
All right. You bet. Right. Take care. See ya.
Thank you. Thanks, Pastor Seth. Thank you.